We are here because of the release of Spider Noir, and this is the only video that I have planned on doing for Spider Noir, just because I have a couple more videos planned for Spider-Man after a Brand New Day and after Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But I decided that I wanted to do at least one extra video for Spider Noir, so what I'm doing is I'm going to be ranking all 5 live-action Spider-Man from the least best to the best, because even though the ones at the bottom I do think are definitely worse, they still have redeeming qualities. And yeah, so let's just not waste any time and just get into it with my least favorite live action Spider-Man, which would be Nicholas Hammond. So Nicholas Hammond is Spider-Man in the 1977 movie and the 2 seasons of TV that followed after that. The first season is 5 episodes, and the second season is 8. I watched this earlier this year, and while the show might not be my favorite, because I do think that some of the episodes here and there can drag, and he doesn't wear the Spider-Man suit as much and everything, and it's an old show, so it's even though I probably give it a bit of a higher rating than it probably deserves, I did have fun with it because it's Spider-Man. And Nicholas Hammond, to that point, I thought was actually pretty good as Peter. And when we get into the next person, I think that there are times where he's better than that one at being Spider-Man. But with that being said, the reason he's last is just because the projects that surround him aren't exactly the greatest. I think that the first movie was actually decent. I think that the second movie was even better. But when I say decent, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Now, if I do rewatch it, I would probably give it a 3, but it still stands that it was actually a pretty good movie. The second one was even better. The show has episodes that are about the same as the movies, really good. But then the show, most of the episodes, I would say, are in the camp of being kind of boring and not exactly having as much Spider-Man stuff as I would like. And then there are episodes that I generally do not like. And then the last movie that he has, which is Spider-Man Goes to Japan or something, legitimately sucks. And I just think that when you take all of it into account, even though I do think he has better moments than the one above him and is a very good version of Peter, I just think that if you take everything, he's not very good. And to that point, also what holds him back a little bit is what surrounds him, because I think the only really character that is actually in the comics that is a part of the show is J. Jonah Jameson. Aunt May is in it, but very, very briefly. And I think besides J. Jonah Jameson and Aunt May, no one else from the comics is in the show or the movies. I think that most people would have him at the bottom. He's good, but the other ones are just better. Number 4 is gonna get me a lot of dislike. Tobey Maguire. So yes, I do think Nicholas Hammond has some moments that are better, but all in all, I think Tobey's slightly better. Mostly because even though they're not my favorites, the movies are definitely way better than anything that came from Nicholas Hammond. I think that Spider-Man 1 is a really good origin story. Spider-Man 3 is one of the most overhated movies I've ever seen, and I love it. It's my favorite of the trilogy. And Spider-Man 2, I think, is a fun watch, and it's a good movie, but you'll see where it lands on my ranking in August, actually, because technically July 31st is when Spider-Man Brand New Day releases, so it will be in August. But I really hate in Spider-Man 2 how he loses his powers because he's sad. I think it's dumb as crap. It sucks. It's idiotic. It's you should have redone it. It sucks. That being said, I think that Tobey Maguire, is fine as Spider-Man. I don't think his performance and everything is, that good. And I think that in No Way Home, he's actually pretty good. I think that in Spider-Man 3, the memes help it. His performance. He's pretty good in Spider-Man 1, and then in Spider-Man 2, he's fine. But when he's in costume, it's pretty good, and the costume is pretty cool, even though it's not one of my favorites either. I think that what kind of helps him above Nicholas is kind of nostalgia, plus what surrounds him. Where I think that William Dafoe as Green Goblin in the first one is really good. Kristen Dunst as MJ is fine. Like, she's fine. Aunt May is also fine. Harry Osborn is great. I think that James Franco as Harry Osborn is phenomenal. My favorite character in those movies, I would say. Like, obviously Spider-Man's like probably my favorite, but like at the same time, like, I think that James Franco is just like the best one in the movies. And then you get like Dr. Octopus in the second one, and I think he's good. And then in the third one, you get Sandman, who I really like, and you get Venom, who might not be the best, but he's fun. And I've never gotten why Tobey Maguire is the Spider-Man that everyone's like, oh yeah, he's like the best one, because it's like, no, he really isn't. Like, he has good moments, and his movies aren't the worst, but he isn't very good in them. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. The next one is our newest. Nicolas Cage is my third favorite. I think he was great. I do like his acting. Like, I haven't seen like a bunch of his stuff, but I do know, like, I've seen some things here and there about like some of his other performances, and like some of them can be a bit weird, but I think that as a whole, like, I do really like Nicolas Cage, and I think that what he did for Ben Reilly in Spartan Noir was really fun. He does some of his like Nicolas Cageisms where he makes the character like over the top at times and just like really fun and stuff, and I really like that. And when he was in costume, like, he was pretty funny. Crap, I forgot to mention that in my review. The Spider Noir show is extremely funny. Like, it had a bunch of good moments. Like, it was hilarious. But like, he was really good as Ben Reilly, like the private detective and everything. I thought that he was really good in that, and just like as a whole, like it was really good, and I liked it. I thought that he was great. I would like to see more from this version. It also helps that in Into the Spider-Verse, he's like one of the best parts of that movie, mostly because I don't like that movie that much, but like, he's definitely great in that movie, and he like continues that in Spider Noir, where he's just phenomenal at it. And just seeing like a Spider-Man who, like, I probably should have mentioned this in the review as well, but seeing a version of Spider-Man who, like, won't, like, he's fine with killing people. Like, there's no, like, coding. Like, he's fine with doing that. That was really fun to watch, because, like, all these Spider-Mans, like, they have, like, a no-kill rule and everything, and, like, you get it, but at the same time, sometimes it's, like, I don't get it. But at least it's not horrible, like, sometimes Batman is, like, with Joker and everything. But, like, there are times where it's just, like, I don't exactly get this. But, like, seeing a version of Spider-Man that is fine with that makes the other ones a bit better to watch, because it's just, like, I get you. That's nice. And I do hope that this list grows over time. We get more live-action Spider-Man, and Nicolas Cage is definitely, like, one of the best ones to do it. And I think that I can't wait to see more of him. Like, really, he's gonna be great. Number 2 is Tom Holland. He is in Spider-Man Homecoming, he's in Spider-Man Far From Home, he's in Spider-Man No Way Home, he's in Avengers Infinity War, he's in Avengers Endgame, and soon to be Spider-Man Brand New Day. He's not, even with Spider-Man Brand New Day, even if he's great in that, he's not beating my number 1, which I think everyone can guess who that is by now. But, he is a phenomenal Spider-Man, and, I've always loved his version. I think that, and he's in Civil War. I think that his introduction to the MCU in Civil War is really good, and like, he's quippy, and he just brings like that Spider-Man charm, and he's really good in that. In Homecoming, he is phenomenal as well. I know I've heard some people don't like that movie as much, but I like that movie a lot. It's not my favorite of the trilogy. I think that each one so far has gotten better, and with the trailers for Brand New Day, unless like it gets absolutely ruined, I think that one might be the best one. But like Homecoming, he is really good in, and he's just playing like that high school Peter Parker who's trying to balance the Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and I really like that. In Infinity War and Endgame, obviously he's not like the biggest part, because it's more like Iron Man and Captain America and stuff, but I think that Infinity War he's really good, and you see him interact with like Doctor Strange, and then you get him interacting with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I really like his performance in that. And to this day, when he dies in Infinity War and he's like, I don't feel so good, Don't Let Me Go. I'm sorry, like, that whole sequence, like, even though I know he comes back, it's the only scene in that movie that actually gets me to crying. Like, it's not like a full-on cry, but it's like a couple tears, like, every time, because, like, I think that performance is really good, and, I mean, it's Spider-Man. And then he comes back in Endgame, and technically he's the reason that all of them were brought back, because if Tony hadn't looked at that picture of him and Peter, like, none of them would have been brought back. So it's Spider-Man's, I don't want to say fault, because that's, like, fault, like, means bad thing, but I can't think of the word right now. I probably just said it. But it's Spider-Man, like, he's the reason that they all came back. And I think that his performance in that is good as well, where he's in the final battle, he doesn't get to, like, a bunch of do, but then when Iron Man dies and he's crying, and then he's at the funeral, and then that leads into Far From Home, where the whole movie he's kind of dealing with, like, Iron Man's shadow, and it's kind of like when he fully becomes Spider-Man. And there's a little, like, 4-minute short film that came along with that, Spider-Man's to-do list, or Peter Parker's something, but it's not that long, and, like, it should have just been in Far From Home, but it came out, like, as a little short film. But that one is really fun, and you get some of the quippy Spider-Man, but in Far From Home he's really, really good, and I just like what they do with him in that. And then his identity gets leaked in the end of that movie, which leads into No Way Home, my favorite MCU movie as of right now. It is just phenomenal. I love that movie. I know people have started to get on the bandwagon of hating it, but I do not. I love that movie. I think that No Way Home is phenomenal. I think that how they deal with everything is really good. You get Aunt May dying. You get him getting his identity by giving up Peter Parker. Like, no one knows who he is anymore, so he loses MJ and Ned and Happy. You get, obviously, the other Spider-Man in there, which is, like, awesome, where you get Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who we'll get to in a minute. And then you obviously get, like, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, you get Jamie Foxx's Electro, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman, and Rhys Ifans' Lizard. But, like, that movie is really great, and I think that they really, like, it's the, like, as people have said, it's like the ending of Tom Holland's, like, Spider-Man origin story, which some people are like, why did it take that long? But I think it works, and it's really good, and I can't wait to see his Spider-Man in Brand New Day. And I just hope that we get a lot more with his Spider-Man. Like, I get, like, live action or, like, animation and stuff is a lot different than comic books and everything, but, like, I would like a Spider-Man that lasts a good while. And Spider-Man Brand New Day, it's been 10 years since Tom Holland started playing Spider-Man. I want at least another 10. Like, at least give us another trilogy with a couple appearances in Avengers. At least do that, please. But, and he's the only Spider-Man that actually has a chance of meeting Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Which technically he already did. Like, Matt Murdock was in No Way Home, but, like, Daredevil. Like, I hope that happens in Brand New Day. And if not, the next movie. But Tom Holland is my second favorite. But my first, and the one that will always be my first, like, I know some, like, I should probably say, like, will be my first for a while, unless but, like, no, he will always be my first. Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 are my two favorite movies of all time. I think that 2002 is better, but, like, they're both, like, neck and, like, I love them both so much, and people are going to disagree with that as well, but, I love those movies, and Andrew Garfield's, acting in them is just phenomenal, and his performance and his Spider-Man is just great. People say that he's too cool and everything, but, like, if you read the original comics, like, they describe him as handsome, and they describe him as, like a cool guy, but, like, he doesn't hang out with these people, and, like, he's kind of socially awkward, so they treat him mean, but it's not like he's supposed to be, like, this big nerd who, like, doesn't look as handsome. And Andrew Garfield's, like, he seems like the version of the character from the comics, and when people are saying that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is, like, the most comic accurate, I don't like that, because, like, are there comics out there that, like, he's accurate to? Yes, but, like, I think Andrew Garfield's is, like, the most comic accurate, because he's got, like, the Peter Parker, like, persona, and he's got, like, the anger issues as well that Peter Parker has, and then when he's in the Spider-Man costume, he's got the quips and everything, and he's the most funny Spider-Man. The arc that he goes on in the first Spider-Man movie where he's trying to take out Uncle Ben's killer, and then he's kind of learning to like grow up and deal with stuff, and that's when he fully becomes Spider-Man. Is just amazing. And then in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, kind of learning more about his parents, and then what happens with Gwen and all that, is like extremely good. And then when he's brought back in No Way Home, that's also extremely good. Like, everything that they do with this character is just, this version of the character is just phenomenal, and I don't have any problems with any of it. I do hope that he's in Doomsday. If not, he's probably gonna end up in Secret Wars. I really hope they don't kill him off, because that would be dumb to me. But I would like a TASM 3 someday. I know it's far from happening, but I will always hold out hope that we'll get a TASM 3, especially with Spider-Noir, and people like, we want Spider-Man stuff, so like they might be like, okay, we should give him like TASM 3, like maybe, who knows, even if it's like an animated film, just please. But Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is and always will be my favorite version of Spider-Man, and that will not change. There's just like so many things that I could say that are just great about him, and just, yeah, I absolutely love his Spider-Man, and that will never change. But tell me your ranking of the 5 in the comments, unless you've only seen the 4, because I don't think a lot of people have seen the Nicholas Hammond one. But just the ones that you have seen, tell me your ranking of that. And we should probably move on from Star Wars and Marvel, because there's probably some other things by now that I have to review. But until then, I will see you whenever I see you. That could be later today, whenever this is released. It could be tomorrow, depending on if there's like a movie or something that releases that I get to. But I'll see you for whatever's next, and I'll see you in June, July, and so on, because there's a good chunk of stuff coming up. So until then, I will see you. And with great power comes great responsibility.